Okay, we're back. We don't know how to fix our mouths being off the words.
Quit talking like that.
Layla, I'm not sure what kind of setup Megs has over there, or I would tell you how.
I think it's a stupid thing.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here, Layla. It's very nice to meet you, and tell us about yourself. Like, how old are you? Do you know, or
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that
I love your name.
apparently I have to have it in autofocus.
It's still behind.
Well, I don't know. Can't help you.
Okay, well, we're just gonna be like we're dubbed really wrong. Okay, now it's frozen. Okay, now it's not frozen. I don't know if it's gonna catch up or not. It looks good. On our end, it looks like our mouths don't match our words, like a dubbing issue. So, but if it looks good to you guys, that's fine.
If I had the remote, I'd be able to tell you for sure or not.
Anyways, welcome. We haven't even said hello because we had some technical issues, but welcome to the Havoc System. I'm Micah, and this is my beloved Ernie. We are mental health streamers. We provide a lot of safe space and advice, and we talk all about mental health and our personal journeys as well as our journeys as a couple. My spouse Ernie is a member of a system, the Havoc System. Duh.
Merch, motherfucker!
And I have, we also have other diagnoses outside of our primary diagnosis. My primary diagnosis is borderline personality disorder. So we use our collective experience of 40 plus years and all the books we've read and all the articles and all the YouTubes we've watched over the years and all the group therapy sessions and all the therapy sessions we've been to, and we talk about real shit, and we keep it real here, and we hope you feel welcome and safe. And please come back if you're watching this VOD and to one of our live streams if you can, if it fits in with your schedule. We stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. most of the time. Sometimes we skip nights because we have other engagements and life and all kinds of reasons. Sometimes we're having a bad mental health day. Y'all ever had one of those? Speaking of bad mental health days, apparently there's this new way to hate on people that lie in the bed a lot. It's called bed rotting.
My God, are you still on this?
I'm still mad. I'm still mad, baby.
Cause you're completely missing the whole.
Okay, so you tell me.
The article.
We keep it gangsta. You are totally right, Stone. Speaking of keeping it gangsta, me and Jordan called the cops on some stupid teenagers who were throwing firecrackers out of a moving vehicle. Yes, I did. I narked on their asses.
The whole point of that article.
Yeah, let's talk about bed rotting because I want to beat the bitch up that said that shit, but go ahead.
See, this thing, you're missing the whole point. They're talking about people who do not suffer from mental health. They're saying that if you find yourself just laying in bed, doing nothing all the time instead of going out or whatever, that you may have depression and anxiety and mental health disorders. They basically are saying it's perfectly normal behavior for people like myself and you. They were basically validating your mental health.
But
and
why?
It pissed you off.
The term is so negative. Bed rotting? Like
that's the term for people who are healthy and do it.
The term is bed rotting. The explanation.
Yes. No, it's a term used towards people who are not mentally ill.
I guess. I mean,
it does not apply to you.
It's not in the DSM, and it's not like a diagnosis. So
that's exactly my point, is that it does not apply to you. And then out of spite, you stayed up for fucking 48 hours.
I did. I actually went mental over that shit. I did. No, 48 hours almost.
Anyway.
And didn't sleep. Because fuck you. And watched TV the entire time. And had the other screen going too. Because that's the way that I recharge. And with a mental health disorder, with high anxiety and overthinking, that's the only way I can.
Yes, and that's what the article's point was.
Okay, but the thing is it's really ableist, actually. Because you're basically saying if you like to do this right here, you might need to go see a therapist, which is actually knocking the mental health community.
It's not. Because they know that's how we cope.
Yeah, Layla, definitely you shouldn't lay in bed a lot. That there are the article pointed out that there are other coping skills that you could use, but the coping skills sounded like the same bullshit we've heard our whole lives when we tell people we have mental health problems, was like, go exercise and what do they say? Go outside, go hang out with people. I'm sorry, if you have social anxiety, that is not possible. But here's the deal. For me,
It's like I explained it to her 5 times and she's just not fucking hearing me.
The thing is
You're
that
actively ignoring me.
No, I'm telling you how the article made me feel.
And I'm trying to explain to you that you shouldn't feel that way because that's not what they were saying, but you're just ignoring that because you're Micah and you're always right.
I am right.
You are not right.
Because I said what I said. So, speaking of being right, I'm going to be on the news tonight locally. I am a celebrity. Yes, I am. So if they do post it on any type of websites or social media, the segment, I will post it in Discord so y'all can see me being all profesh on the news. I got interviewed in front of the courthouse because I am a well-known activist and leader in our political community, and I spoke out against this group of women.
No, I don't, Stone.
Serotonin is your natural happy vibes, not vibes, neural chemicals in your brain.
I got a cup full of serotonin
Right.
now.
And if you lack serotonin, you have depression, which is what SSRI is, an antidepressant medication, because it's built to boost serotonin. Dopamine is your adrenal function. That's adrenaline, those type of things. They're both chemicals that exist in our bodies and our brains, but serotonin is specifically the happiness, the whatever that is. And dopamine is adrenaline. Right. Agreed, Layla. So exposure therapy for people with social anxiety or any type of phobias or paranoia, or like agoraphobia and all of those mental illnesses, I do believe that you should push yourself when you are ready, and you need to force yourself outside the house. Absolutely. It's called exposure therapy. I absolutely 100% believe in that. We're going to be talking about skills tonight.
I absolutely don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that because it scares you, and it's not easy. And
I tried it with a previous therapist fucking before.
And I know, and it's not easy, and I'm not saying
it doesn't work.
It is a scientifically proven method to cure phobias. Period. Exposure therapy. So
really, so it's to cure it, yet somehow it made my fucking anxiety worse to where I actually became agoraphobic.
Well, it does suck. And it's terrifying. And I'm not saying everyone is at their place in their mental health journey to do it. But the point that Layla's making and that I'm making is that it is the only way to get past it. You have to go through it to get past it.
Yeah, because I never leave the house, and it's getting easier and easier to do it.
Yes, it sucks. It's not easy. I talk about it like it's easy, and it's not, Layla. Stone, I thought dopamine was the happy hormone chemical and serotonin was the receptor. I don't know. I just...
Google, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't know. I think dopamine is adrenal, though. Having to do with adrenaline. I like it when it has stubble.
It looks so bad on camera, though.
I disagree. I think it's cute. Anyways, so
yes, it is important.
you can't see it. It's just like 5 o'clock shadow on his head. I like it.
Anyway, this is important skills update for everyone who's not in the Discord, because everyone that's in the Discord has already received this link. Unfortunately, everybody watching on YouTube, Kick, and Facebook, you're gonna have to write this link down. Yeah. So I may post it a few times, depending on how fast chat moves, but you'll probably have to manually write this link down. But this is the link to, well, before I post it. Oh shit, I can't.
It won't let you paste.
What is the... There's like a command to paste. Is it
Control P.
I thought that was print.
Control Z.
No.
Control. What's the control buttons for paste? I bet it went away though because you clicked off of Discord. It's been too long.
It shouldn't have.
Control V. There we
it
go.
is. Okay. Thank you, Stone.
Thank you, Stoned.
No, it's not. Definitely not Control P because I'm pretty sure
That's
Control
print.
P is something else. Why does it look like this? Hold on. There we go. Alright, so I'll explain.
Alright, so the link we're about to post.
Yes, I'm going to explain before I post it so you know.
Again, we've been working on skill-based training, coping skills, and skills to help us get through emotional dysregulation episodes. So how to regulate your emotions through skill-based training. And this is CBT, DBT type stuff, and it takes practice and repetition.
So, alright, this is learning to record your experiences, which is to learn importance of record keeping, to introduce you to questionnaires you'll be using to monitor your emotions, to learn how to track your progress throughout these skills. So this chapter will help you understand the importance of monitoring and recording your experience. For the rest of this program, you will be asked to keep track of your efforts practicing each skill during homework forms at the end of each chapter.
Y'all get homework.
I'll also ask you to monitor the emotions you experience week by week. So this is once a week thing. Keeping ongoing records of your experiences that will help you understand how changing your relationship with your emotions corresponds to the gains you're making during these skills.
Again, I would like to reiterate that you have to commit. If you really want changes and to improve your life, you have to commit to these programs. They work.
Right, and it's like I said, once we start on chapter 4, this is going to be every night thing. We're going to go through a chapter.
Or try to.
Well, that's the plan because I don't want any breaks.
Yeah, because it takes,
there are many reasons why it's important to keep records of your experiences on a regular basis. First, intense anxiety, sadness, or other uncomfortable emotions typically feel overwhelming. Learning to be an observer of your own emotions is a first step towards understanding these experiences and feeling more in control.
That's so important. Stop right there. So what do they mean by learning to observe your emotions reduces anxiety and more control?
Well, it's not that it reduces anxiety. It's when you suffer from intense anxiety, sadness, or other uncomfortable emotions that typically feel overwhelming, learning to be an observer of your emotions is the first step towards understanding these experiences and feeling more in control. So basically it's going about with these once a week little go through things. You're learning to say, okay, this week let me find a thing. So you answer 0 through 4 on everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the bottom your total score.
Yeah, so you're basically collecting data on yourself. So
Right, and
being
then
an observer and being able to go through this data at a later time helps you to be like, oh shit,
Right, it's basically like, okay, this week I was at a 20,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, well, how can I work on this? And then you try to expose yourself more to it and try to better understand it, and then it's like then the next week you might be at a 15.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I always say, it's
Mental health
it's a
journey
graph.
healing is
It's not a straight line. It's not straight up and down.
there's highs and lows, but the
Right.
end result is the point.
Right.
But what I meant specifically is, what does it mean to be an observer of yourself?
What did I just said?
Okay, well, I'm looking at a specific word. It's called mindfulness. It's called catching your feelings and realizing in the moment, okay, I'm going to be mindful that these feelings are really extreme and not real. They're irrational. And so I may not can stop them. I may not can stop feeling them, but recognizing that they're irrational is called being mindful and present in the moment. That is being an observer of yourself.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example. All right. The anxiety scale. First question is, in the past week, how often have you felt anxious? 0 is no anxiety the past week. Infrequent anxiety, occasional anxiety, frequent anxiety, and then 4 is constant anxiety. And then, so you add that, and the next question is, in the past week, when you have felt anxious, how intense or severe was your anxiety? In the past week, how often did you avoid situations, places, objects, or activities because of anxiety or fear? So that's basically what it means by becoming an observer.
No, like I'm talking about the big picture of being an observer of yourself.
Okay, well, I'm saying you're moving ahead.
Okay. Yes, I do it every time. Yes. Oh no. That's awesome. So let me tell you what I did. Like the stuff you put underneath hot pans and hot plates and stuff to keep it from burning your cabinets or your table. I put those under my straighteners and my curling irons and stuff. And then that way, if I leave it on, it doesn't burn anything. What are they called? Like pot holders or whatever? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. So throughout this experience, you'll be learning specific skills that will help you respond to your emotions in more helpful ways. Given that everyone has unique experiences, recording your personal examples will also help you figure out how to best apply the treatment and strategies and skills to meet your individual needs. As you practice applying your new skills, ongoing monitoring will highlight the impact they're having on your emotional experiences. You'll be able to answer the question, how is this new strategy helping?
Yeah.
Finally, monitoring your overall progress during these skills will help you track the gains you are making.
I get it, Layla. I see what you're saying. So you're basically saying if you practice this stuff, and you learn and try it, over time, it becomes a thing that you can do without thinking. And that means you've healed. Or you're better. You're getting better.
Right. And so this kind of covers the next thing you were talking about, becoming an objective observer.
Yes.
A systematic approach to monitoring your experiences provides much more accurate information than simply asking yourself, how have I been feeling lately?
Right. That's so general and so vague. This allows you a tool to break it down into a tangible, like a number. You can say, on this day I was a 20, on this day I was a 40. what was going on the 20 day, what was going on the 40 day. This is just a tool to monitor your patterns so that you don't have to stay so vague and big. Because that's one of the reasons when we're emotionally dysregulated, we're literally like not able to think clearly. So this is a tool to kind of ground us in a reality, which is what Layla was using as an example with the straightener, which is that we have to be grounded into a reality. We have to practice that reality, and it's not comfortable at first, and it's work, but it does literally work. These programs are scientifically based and proven to work.
Right. So if you're asked to describe the past week, by simply asking yourself, how have I been feeling lately? If you were asked to describe the past week, you may judge it to have been very bad, even though you felt relatively good at some points.
Yeah.
Or you might even evaluate how you felt over the entire week on the basis on how you felt over just the past few days.
That's a good point. You might have forgot some good things.
Focusing on your negative emotions makes it easy to forget about the times you didn't feel that way.
What did I just say?
Not only that, these negative judgments about how you've been doing in general may be contributing to your ongoing feelings of anxiety, sadness, or other distressing emotions.
Stop. Pause.
No, God, stop interrupting me.
I'm not interrupting. I'm adding like a personal perspective on the words.
You keep doing that, but it's like literally the next sentence is what you're about to say.
Okay.
Keeping records of your emotional experiences help you to recognize that your mood fluctuates. Through this process, you will begin to get a lot more realistic picture of what is really going on for you, enabling you to feel more in control. Now, you wanted to add what?
Well, I forgot now. So I need you to read the exact sentence that triggered something for me.
Focusing on your negative emotions make it easy to forget about the times you didn't feel that way. Not only that, the negative judgments about how you've been doing in general may be contributing to your ongoing feelings of anxiety, sadness, and other distressing emotions.
That's the pause. So basically what it's saying is maybe you not being mindful of the actual reality. What we're trying to do is mindfulness, which is being present in a reality and not an extreme. And so what it's saying is what you think about how you feel may not be accurate. That's what they're trying to say, is by practicing these skills that we will go through in the coming weeks, you will learn to regulate and say, okay, that's extreme, that's crazy, that's not real, what I'm thinking. Those are wrong feelings.
Right,
So
because we actually have not actually touched on any actual skills to be helpful. This has all just been introductory.
Yeah, but you have to set it all up so people understand what they're wanting to do here, or what they're trying, what we're trying to help do.
Well, that's also what I'm saying. I'm giving people time to kind of like think about, is this going to be right for me?
Those are great questions, Layla. I love that.
Sometimes people are concerned that continually recording how they're feeling will make them feel even worse. It's important to realize, however, that the way you observe your experience matters. For example, subjective monitoring means focusing on how bad you feel, how much your emotions are interfering in your life, and how helpless you feel to control them.
So subjective means you're biased on your own self. So you've got like a bias. But objective observation means you're thinking rationally.
Right.
You're having a realistic moment with yourself.
Right. Being subjective is, you're just basically sitting around being like, this fucking anxiety, there's nothing I can do, man.
Yeah, you're not taking action.
In contrast, what I'll be asking you to gauge in objective monitoring, which involves observing your emotions in a more scientific way.
Right.
And in these skills, you will learn to record things such as how many times over the course of a week you felt a certain way, what was happening right before you felt distressed, and how you responded. In other words, what you were thinking, doing, and feeling.
Actually.
Right. In other words, you will be recording just the facts and evidence, not your judgments or evaluations of how good or bad the experience may have been for you.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what they're saying is you're not going to add any commentary because your commentary is warped, or you wouldn't be having this extreme dysregulation. What they're saying is if we break this down into like a tangible, like a pie chart or a graph, right? If we break this down into just the facts, ma'am, bullet points, we will see that the reality is we're not actually, these thoughts are out of control. They're not real.
Right.
So we're trying to ground or be mindful and present. And so basically what it's saying is like, we're trying to think of a scientific approach, like just the facts, ma'am. You know, that's a quote from a movie if you didn't catch that. But
Yeah.
anyways.
So, of course, at first, it's going to be difficult to switch from being subjective to objective monitoring. As you start to use the records and forms included in this workbook, which I will be posting the link for, that you can download for free, you may even notice an increase in your distress because you're focusing on your emotional in the old subjective way. However, with practice, you will begin to find switching into an objective mode easier and easier.
That's exactly what we've been saying, right, Layla?
Right. So
with practice.
It's don't expect results right away. Because
Okay,
it's going to be hard to switch to being objective about it.
Right, but I would like to add that I'm glad they're giving a warning about that. They're basically saying this shit's gonna suck at first, but then you're gonna feel better, right? And I'm appreciative of that, but I wish that they would be more definitive and like blunt about it. That like, I know it's gonna suck, and it will suck at first because it's hard to focus on painful things, but like you got to. Like, this is how you win. I wish they would just say that, because that works with me. Just tell me what will work, you know, and tell me that it will suck and let me wrap my mind around it, and then I'll sign up for it, you know, instead of beating around the bush and calling it subjective and objective. Just say you're going to like feel like shit for a while, but you're going to feel better. Just stick with it. You know, that's basically what they're saying in a nutshell.
That's what I was kind of getting into. It's that I cannot emphasize enough the importance of record keeping. And remember, there is a difference between subjective monitoring, which is focusing on how bad you feel, and objective monitoring, which is looking at the features of your experience in a more scientific way.
That's right.
Completing the anxiety and depression scales, as well as other emotion and positive emotion scales, and progress record weekly will help you keep your progress in perspective. At first, you may have to push yourself to complete these records, but it will become easier and even rewarding. These records not only serve to give yourself feedback, but they're also very helpful to your if you are going through this with your therapist, it's very helpful for your mental health professional if you're seeing one.
So this is self-improvement work that you can actually take to your therapist and say, hey, this is what I've been working on, and would you like to look at it? You know, and what are your thoughts on it?
Right. So this is what the homework will be. You begin monitoring your weekly experiences using the anxiety and depression scales, which I will show you what they look like in a moment. Use these forms to get into the habit of objectively recording how often you've experienced anxiety and depression over the past week, as well as how much these feelings interfered with your daily life. It may be helpful to photocopy these forms so that you have a fresh copy to complete each week, which will be unnecessary because once I give you the link, you'll be able to make as many copies as you want.
Or you can use them digitally. Some people might want to like really take this seriously, and you can make a binder from this experience with the forms in it and all your work and keep it as like a journal. That'd be awesome. That's what I would do, because I'm extra and I like paper as opposed to digital. But
right. This is an optional thing. Monitor your weekly experiences using other emotion and positive emotion scales.
I think we should do the positive for sure, because like we don't want to just be like negative all the time.
Right. Which you use these forms to objectively rate how often you experience the emotion you selected. I'm sorry. The emotion you selected as most relevant to you. An example: anger or shame or fear.
That's funny. Roxy's such a rebel.
As well as how often you experience positive emotions over the past week. Use the progress record to begin charting your progress through the program, recording total scores from the anxiety and depression scales, as well as other emotions and positive emotion scales.
These are
week by week.
forms, y'all, that we're talking about.
Right. So, this right quick is...
Ask yourself this. Just ask yourself these questions.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get through this four-question questionnaire without being negative, then you're probably not going to get much from this because you already have a negative view of it.
So, number one, record keeping helps you have a better understanding of your emotional experience. These are all true or false. So you're answering these true or false.
Record keeping. Yes, true.
Number two, objective monitoring and record keeping means focusing on how bad you feel.
False. Wait.
You're not supposed to be telling the answers.
Oh!
You should be able to easily switch from subjective to objective monitoring without practicing it, and if you can't, you must be doing it wrong. See, look at you still doing it. Stop.
I want them to do the same thing, is to react to the
That's just
questions.
the whole thing, Dio. You're not supposed to be reacting to them.
Oh, okay. Let me get on my non-reacting face. This is my Botox face.
Because this is supposed to be helping them figure out if it's right for them or not. Objective monitoring and record keeping help give you more accurate information about your experiences. For example, allowing you to see there may actually have been some good moments in a week you judged all as bad.
All right, so again, reiterating subjective monitoring and objective monitoring. Objective monitoring means you have like a rationality about it. Subjective means you're just downing yourself, basically, or you don't have a rational view of yourself. Hey, boss!
Right. So, each of these forms will,
They're like one-pagers.
this side right here, it'll be, full of questions and such. So you've got your anxiety scale, your depression scale, these are the ones you need to be doing.
You have to do every week.
Every week. Now, optional, kind of explain. So, other emotion scale, which is optional. You can do these for multiple emotions if you want.
But they want you to focus on one particular one when answering the
Well,
question.
it's basically the one you're struggling with the most.
So, like, mine would be anger
So
last week.
you identify emotional experience that you've been struggling with. For example, anger, shame, jealousy. Enter the emotion into the blank spot, which each, at the end of these questions, there's a blank. For each item, circle the number for the answer that best describes your experience with that emotion the past week. Which, say anger. When it's in the past week, how often have you felt anger? In the past week, when you felt anger, how intense or severe
So it's
was
the
your anger?
same as the depression and anxiety
Right.
scale, but on a personal level as to what your actual big...
Right.
Yes, jealousy is based on insecurity.
And then the other optional positive emotional scale. The following items ask about positive emotions.
I like this. I think it's
I
good
see.
after you do those negative ones to do a positive one.
So, like in the past week, how often have you felt positive emotions such as happiness, and most excitement, and joy? In the past week, when you felt positive emotions, how intense were those feelings, and such on. And then they all, you total your score at the bottom.
And then you have a
Now-
weekly progress chart.
And then you've got your progress record. in which you use this form to plot your scores from the anxiety and depression scales, as well as the other emotion and positive emotion scales you're using for them, and you'll use a different mark for each one. So the way this will work is, so
You use this over the whole program.
right.
Just one page.
So you start over here at week 1, and then you put a mark at whatever your total score is over here, which goes all the way up to 20.
And then you'll be able to make a
right, and then right there it tells you what kind of marker to use for each one: your anxiety, the depression, other emotion, and positive emotion. Those are the markers that you use.
And then at the end of the weeks of the whole thing, you'll have a picture to look at on one page.
Right, so this goes, to give you an example of how long this is going to take, is this goes to 20 weeks.
If you're doing it right.
Right.
But you could always refer to the VODs that are stored on YouTube from these lives if you want to go back and revisit these concepts.
Yes. Yes. And this is the link for
Downloading
all these blank sheets. Because I believe also, though, there's more, which we'll get into later, like things like this.
Yeah, they're like graphs.
There's all kinds of graphs and stuff.
Yeah.
So once we get to that chapter, go download them and work on them. But don't download the whole packet. Right. Don't go skipping ahead.
Right. Don't skip ahead. That's not how the program works. The program only works in steps. So you want to take step 1, go to that link, and get your scales and your progress report. That's all we're saying.
Right.
And you can go ahead and fill one out if you want to, because that's what we're going to be doing on the next stream. Or we can remind you and put the thing up, and you can do it in real time with us on next stream, because we're going to be filling our own.
There's going to be a lot of different areas where
we're going to be doing our own
like
with you.
Form 7.1, mindful emotion awareness.
Mindfulness. I love that word.
But the next chapter that we will be getting into is setting goals and maintaining motivation. And once we start this is where we will start.
Well, do we need to, but before that, we need to review these that we just did.
Well, that was the end of it.
Right. But what are you telling us, that we need to be doing those before next stream? And are we going to go over them? Or is this just a self-monitoring tool we're supposed to be imposing?
Honestly, it's a self-monitoring tool for yourself. Because it's not up to me to judge whether your number is good or bad, or where you're on.
Okay, I'm not asking that.
Where you're at on the scale is for me to judge or tell you, you need to work more on this. This is what you should be doing. Because the thing is, I'm saying I would wait till we start into chapter 4 to start filling things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I'm asking. Do we do check-ins on that? Or is that throughout the program? Or is that something you just got to remember?
Well, it's like a thing. We're going to try to go through a chapter every night.
Right, but
so
it looks like we're
chapters.
moving on to new material. That's what I'm confused about.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This is, you're setting goals and maintaining motivation is chapter 4.
But did they remind you to do your scales or at any point?
Well, here's the thing. You're supposed to remember to do them.
Okay.
Every week.
So that means it's up to us every stream to say, are you monitoring and doing your scales?
Well, I mean, if we need to do that, then they're not taking it very serious.
That's true. But I thought we were going to actually do one. Like each of us were going to do one to show that we're serious.
And, because like I said, we'll go through chapter 4, because at the end of chapter 4 is more
forms,
decisional balance, treatment goals. you know.
Okay.
And then, we move on to, and then chapter 5 is understanding your emotions. What is an emotion? And it goes through all the emotions, guilt, shame, blah, 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 blah.
No, we're totally going to do it, Layla. I was just trying to get him to, he doesn't break shit down correctly. Like, I'm not hating, baby. It's just that, as a teacher, I learned over the years you have to say things 3 different ways because the first time they may not hear it or understand what you're saying. So I was just asking you to reiterate.
No, I'm absolutely going to be doing these.
Absolutely, 100%.
Just so, But here's the thing. My thing about it is I don't want it becoming well.
You're not
Ernie's
doing your scale.
Well, that's not my point at all. Is I don't want it being like, oh, well, I got a 20 on this, but Ernie only got 10 on that. I must be doing something wrong.
We don't have to personally discuss our scales, but we need to be honest about that, like, we're actually doing them to monitor ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right. That's just, that was my only point I'm going to be doing them, but I'm not going to be sharing my results because I don't want to go there. Or, the reverse thing and be like, oh, well, he's a fucking 20 on that. He doesn't know he doesn't know how to follow the fucking book.
I see what you're saying. So I would pick a day. I would download the forms of the scales, as they're called. There's 4 of them. And the graph for monitoring your progress.
Right, because I'm actually not going to start into chapter 4 until next Monday.
Yes. That's exactly right. So it's for you.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want people,
comparing themselves to others. That would be bad.
I mean, if you want to share,
absolutely,
that's completely up to you.
100%. Like, I had a shitty scale this week.
Yeah, I'm not going to discourage that at all. But I'm just saying, just me personally, I'm not, because I don't want anyone to feel bad if they're not at the same pace I'm at, or feel like, I don't know what I'm talking about or understanding the book if they're...
But if, we might ask a general question, like, how did you feel about your scale this week? Or does anybody have any feelings that they want to talk about regarding their scale?
Yeah.
So I would pick a day that you do your scales, and it's just once a week. It's really not that much of a commitment to get to
And I would say that because we'll start chapter 4 on Monday, and then we'll go Monday through Friday doing it. And then I would say Saturday,
do your scale. Yeah, that makes sense, babe.
And
that makes sense.
At the start each week, on Monday, at the beginning of the stream, we'll start and be like, does anybody want to discuss their scales over the
And
weekend?
like we said, the link that we gave you, and post it again, Control.
Well, it's still up there.
I know, but I don't know what kind of device they're using. Okay, well, it's not there anymore. What was it? Control V?
Yeah.
Okay. But don't look ahead, and don't get overwhelmed, and don't download everything.
Well, yeah.
Just take it step by step.
The problem is like...
So
yeah, I mean, it's for you to do too, Stone.
Yes, it's for everyone, Stone, not just people with diagnoses.
Right. Even if you don't have a diagnosis.
Yeah, you don't have to have a diagnosis. This is mental wellness, skills, So self-care. That's a good way of saying it for normies, as they're called, which I hate that word. But I think it's ableist. But
it's pinned. Well, that's only really good for anybody after stream.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's good, though. Okay, so really quickly, because we only have about 12 minutes, we do have to cut tonight's stream short. I'm so sorry, you guys. But it's because I'm going to be on the news, and we have to go watch it live. So, I wanted to talk about how you're feeling as someone with DID about mindfulness and skills-based and practice-based stuff. Like, how does it feel? And I'm getting at a specific question. For me, as a borderline person, it literally appeals to me in every way because my problem is irrational overthinking. So, an emotional dysregulation. But when your modus operandi, which is Latin for your go-to, is to just run away and dissociate, which you can't help. I'm not saying that's negative.
And see, here's the thing. Like, I get where you're going with this.
You get where I'm going with it? Okay, then please
But
talk about it from a DID perspective.
Well, no, I'm all for doing this and learning these things, but I think it would be more beneficial and more helpful if there was some system communication going on.
But
So that way I would be able to get
everyone's opinion.
perspective.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know how Layla and Secret System feel about that. I know that they do a lot of collaborative work with their therapist. Oh yeah, you ain't lying. There's always going to be
where my lack of system communication and amnesia barriers are coming in handy because I don't have to listen to them complain.
Yeah. I would say this is perfect work for this time because your system is quiet. And so maybe you can literally just practice some skills.
Amazingly, this book is so much thinner. The second book that we're going to get into, which is Reclaiming Your Life from a Traumatic Experience.
How is trauma shorter than the behavioral modification book?
I know.
That's crazy. Trauma takes years.
Is this... I wonder if this... Yeah, no, this has... Well, I don't know. No, yeah, this has...
I guess the point that I wanted to point out is how easy do you think this is going to be for someone with DID versus someone like me? And I mean, I don't mean DID as a system. I mean like dissociation. Someone that would rather run away from than talk about their problems.
No, I honestly think like it actually would it'll probably be easier for someone like you than me who's used to dissociating.
Yeah.
Anytime something
hurts or feels funny.
Thing. Well, see, I think this book is going to help a lot with me dissociating less. Now, the second book, I think is going to be hard for me to get through. Harder, because one of the things is that there's a lot of trauma that I don't remember.
Right, that's true. Yes, Stoned has a question for System.
Yes, absolutely.
They're absolutely distinct. Yeah.
Garrett, in their world, sounds very much more like the fucking Lucky Charms guy than when I speak.
Or when the body...
When he speaks through using my body, just because my vocal cords are different than his.
Mm-hmm.
And... I guess it's just hardwired. The enunciations of everything is more along the lines of how my dad's family pronounced everything.
Yeah, it's literally like having a bunch of people talking at once sometimes. That's why.
Honestly, picture a podcast with 9 guests on it, playing in another room, where you can't see them, but you can just hear them talking, and that's basically kind of what it's like having DID.
That's a good description, babe. Great question, Stone.
Or just even, a podcast that just doesn't have video to it, and there's like 9 people, 10 people, 20 people on
Oh,
there.
she's sassy? Yes. Yeah, food court. That's good.
Initially, and this is the way it was for me when I got system communication, it was very hard to distinguish, other than Garrett, because he's fucking the only one with the Irish accent, but it was really hard to distinguish at first who was speaking when. Like when Gambit was talking, when Xander was talking, when Jeremy was talking. But, which is the same way when you initially start listening to a podcast or just something that's just completely auditory, it takes you some time
to learn
to differentiate how people sound.
Also, you explained it as like a faraway TV at first, or like they're underwater. So like, wonk, 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 wonk. You can hear them talking, and then when you got system communication, it cleared up.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
I will be honest with you, I sleep way better since I've lost system communication because there's not constant voices going.
And why are they always arguing? Why do systems just sit there and argue? Is it because they have to spend all day together or what? They're just always arguing. Or is it just your system that's always arguing?
I don't think that they're like arguing. They're just, it's just a bunch of fucking alpha males in one room.
That makes sense because I mean you were created for specific reasons and you're all individuals. So that would make sense that you want to express yourself. Absolutely. 100%. But I mean, and I'm not being funny. It's just, it seems like his system just always arguing.
So, since this house has some type of entity in it,
that's a whole other subject. Meg's has one too. Remember we saw it on stream and knocked the plant over.
Yeah, probably on like a Saturday or Sunday when we're not doing our regular stream, whatever. And this will be like next month. There is a program that I'm gonna download for my phone. It costs $10. I mean, I could get it today, but I don't want to. I want to wait till I have money again, and it's like $10, and it's an app for your phone. And basically, when you have it active, you put your phone into airplane mode, so there's like no outside interference at all. And what this app will do is literally, if there is something there, you know, you can sit there and try to have a conversation with it, whatever, and it can give like either, you know, one word response, or sometimes it'll say a whole sentence. I've seen
what does this do?
It basically allows whatever's in the home to use the phone to speak.
Oh, are you talking about that shit they use on that YouTube channel?
Yes, which I've seen it work very well. Like there's one I was watching the other day.
I'm glad you came.
They were in a school where a principal had actually killed a student, and the student's father and like the teachers were very mean to the children and such, whatever. And you know, like they're in there, and the phone kept saying school. And they went upstairs to try to talk to
So
the
this is
principal.
Communication with entities or ghosts is what it's talking about.
Basically anything that has
Right.
the energy to speak.
So Layla, before I go, because we do have to go like in 2 minutes, you mentioned earlier that I'm supposed to tell Megs that you're back. How would you like for me to do that? Would you like for me to like text her, or like wait till I see her again? Like I want to know specifically what you're asking as a friend, because we are your friend. We know Megs, and we don't know you, but we'd love to get to know you, and we're so glad that you came tonight.
Yes.
But I do want to clarify that, because I don't like to disrespect Alter's wishes when they talk to me, because I'm a singlet and I don't know shit, so I want to be accurate.
Right. And for those of you who are watching this on like a phone, whatever, where the link has been too small to read, I will go ahead and say it. It's academic.ou.chapter/book/125/4/chapter/140186647.
You may have to rewind that a couple times.
Yeah.
But that is the link to the free forms. So we do have to go. So we love you guys.
Oh, okay.
I messed up what you were saying earlier.
Gotcha.
I got it now.
But
yeah,
hey.
just be like, okay, sure.
Yep. But We gotta go now.
Love you. Be good to yourself. Be good to others.
Bye.
Bye.
Go in there and tell her to put it on a box, and I'll.
You need to do that. It's not for me to go tell your mom what to do.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
will you turn that light on, please?
I mean, it's not going to be the top story. At the same time, we need to go.